So can you go to Colleen, Phillip?
All right, so let's now move to Colleen Phillip from Sustainable Otautahi Christchurch Incorporated. Colleen, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the table. And you've got 5 minutes for your submission this afternoon.
Thank you. Tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Sustainable Otautahi Christchurch, or SOC, as we are often called. As we said in our written submission, and indeed as is referenced in the LTP discussion document, the LTP and the draft climate strategy are and must be inextricably linked. Thus, it is encouraging to see a consciousness of the climate crisis reflected in the LTP, especially in such areas as transport. It is important that momentum continue with cycleway provision. We realise pushback, and I'm not referring to the previous submission here, genuine concerns like that are not what I'm referring to here. We realise that pushback has at times been intense with regard to these, but we only need to look back in recent history to such things as smoke-free legislation to remember there is always pushback to inevitable and necessary societal changes. But the sky does not fall in, even on the most vociferous and adversarial, and the world moves on to where it needs to be. SOC believe you should be open to bringing the cycleway program forward. It is critical infrastructure with major flow-on effects. Doing it sooner would be an investment which would head off other costs in the future. As you say in the LTP, people want Greater Christchurch to be green, safe, sustainable, affordable, and most people in Christchurch have expressed very clearly their priorities in the residential red zone. Quick wins with community assistance are available with ecological restoration. With an ecological crisis alongside a climate crisis, ecological work must be prioritised. We will speak to the climate document next week, so I will move to other aspects of our submission on the LTP. The library service. Please do not start a sinking lid on your library services. It's a false economy. 97% of Christchurch feel positive towards our libraries. How many feel that way towards the council overall? In some ways, your librarians and libraries and library staff could be seen to be helping save your reputational bacon. SOC have a number of ways we have experienced the excellence of the library staff and service. Our project Speaking for the Planet has an annual competition day held at Tūranga this year on June 11th. We engage with library staff for that event, and this year we are touring the young people's artworks around suburban libraries as well. We are leading an environmental leadership and heritage of Christchurch Canterbury project where we have taken oral histories of early still living environmental leaders. We are consulting with library personnel on our communication plan and will use library infrastructure when bringing this project to the community. We hold meetings at Tūranga and South Library in particular, small working meetings, not executive or public meetings, which we tend to hold at the WEA, hence our support for their submission on the LTP. We have a number of executive members living near South Library. Seriously, when I mention South Library to people, their eyes light up. It is a well-loved, important part of that community. I did an iNaturalist course recently in preparation for the Worldwide City Nature Challenge. Who taught it? A library staff member. Christchurch is becoming famous for our libraries. They are part of the city's character and need to be protected and celebrated, not quietly eroded. As an active community organisation, we do find Christchurch City Council's interface with community challenging. I won't do fine-grained detail here, it's inappropriate in a public forum. However, suffice to say, SOC rely on some very good staff members who, despite what appears to us as outsiders to be a rather unbalanced workload distribution within the council, do try hard to be there for us and help. The council we don't see worries us. The bureaucratic structure, which I confess sometimes feels a bit like a black hole. You have work to do, making sure the money you spend is spent in the service of Otautahi Christchurch, and that the organisation is outward-facing, outward-looking and internally well-functioning, and that the processes you use actually do deliver what we need and ask for. Thank you so much for your time today.
And thank you for your time as well for presenting that to us. There's time for one question, if there is one. The submission is very clear. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now